Hello everybody. This lesson helps us to understand how to draw a tally chart and then how to use that tally chart to make a vertical line graph. So we're going to do this with an example. We've got a set of students here who have taken a math test and we've got some scores. And the first thing we're going to do is to organize this into a tally chart. So a tally chart is a way of turning this into some frequencies that we can use. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line straight down there, and we're going to write on the left-hand side of that line all the numbers we can see there. So we can see a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and an 8. And okay. And so what we're going to do now is just mark every time we see a number and make sure we count them all. So we've got starting from the top left, we've got a 3, and then we've got a couple of 3 4s in a row. Then we've got a 5 and a 6, and then 2 7s. Then we've got a 4 and a 3. 5 7 6 7, 5 7 6 7. Then we've got 5 8 3 5, so 5 8 3 5. 6 and then a 4. Now, when we get to 5, rather than writing the fifth dash, we're going to draw a line through it. And that way we are going to be able to count them up easily later on in 5s. Now, we'll carry on doing this, but underneath we have a pre-made one, and you can see what happens in the end. Now, when I was doing this, I did not include scores of 1 and 2 because there were no scores of 1 and 2 in the data. And I didn't include 9 and 10 because there were no scores of 9 and 10. So this is optional. You do not have to do this, okay, because where do you end? You don't know how many we were scored out of. Okay, so after we've made the tallies, we then count them up, and this total is your frequency. So we can see that we count in 5s plus the 1 to make the 6. So frequency just means number of items, number of 4s, number of 5s, or whatever it's going to be. Now, from here, we are going to make a vertical line graph. Now, the word vertical is really important. That means going straight up in the air. So what we're going to have is make sure we always have the frequency going along the left-hand side and any scores along the bottom. So we have a highest frequency of 8. So if I was drawing this, I would make sure I would use a ruler, of course, and I'm going to have frequency here, and I need to make sure that I am going up as high as 8. So let's just bring that down a little bit further. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That way we'll make sure we get that highest value in. Okay, now going across, we need to make sure we give the scores of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In this case, they've started from 1, but it doesn't matter. And we're going to make sure we leave spaces between them. So we are going to draw this out. So for example, let's start from 2 in this case. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so on and so on. 7, and the last value we had was an 8. Okay, so this is going to be the scores. Now, the vertical lines are the straight up lines, and so the first one we're going to have is a height of 3 at a score of 3. So we just draw it straight up there, look. Okay, there is my representation of the number of 3s that we had. Now, we had 6 4s, so we're going to make sure that we draw from the 4 up as high as 6 on the frequency, and so on and so on. Now then, here is a good finished version of the graph. Okay, so a couple of things. Make sure we evenly space out as we move along. So for example, the distance between 0 and 1 on the frequency column is the same as every other distance between 3, 4, or 4, 5. And the same going across. They should be evenly spaced out, and they are. They're always a gap of 2. Make sure you've labeled your axes with the frequency on the left and whatever it is we're measuring on the lower edge of the vertical line graph. And that is finished. Hope that helps you to understand how to draw a tally chart and then to use that tally chart to draw a vertical line graph.